Before I read this story to you, I want you to keep two options in mind and drop it in the comment section. Do you think that this is women in male fields or she was insensitive, period? Please drop that as I am reading it to you. I'm going to try to read through this without editorializing. I want you to write, is this a woman in a male field or was she just insensitive, period? So Krista Monet says, I was dating this guy for a few months, and I remember noticing he would never drink anything I would pour for him. We would be at his house, and I would casually ask if he wanted me to get him a drink from the kitchen, as I was going to get myself something. He would always say no, but then when I came back with my drink for myself, he would drink from it. At first, I didn't think anything of it, and I would casually make jokes about him drinking all of mine and not getting his own. Then there was one time at my place. He brought takeout and I was pouring us two separate cups of tea from the fridge. I gave him his cup and he started smelling it and asked, Did you put something in here? Me, put something in what? Him, in my drink, it smells weird. Me, laughing it off, it's sweet tea from Publix. I didn't make it. I don't know why it smells weird. He gets up, goes to the kitchen sink, and throws the drink down the drain. I was so confused, watching him re-pour the same tea from the same gallon jug I just poured from. I asked him about it and he replied, Are you trying to drug me? Me, why would I want to drug you? Him, I don't know. Me, so why ask me this? Him, because my ex-wife used to put stuff in my drinks to poison me. Me, she told you that? Him, I kept getting sick and she admitted to it in court. She's in prison now. Me, well, that sucks for y'all, but respectfully, she had things to potentially gain, like your assets, money, and stuff. I don't have any motive to poison you. I don't get any of your money if you die. I actually prefer you alive with your wallet. You dying gives me nothing. Please don't throw away a good cup of sweet tea in my presence again. Now you owe me a new gallon. It's on sale for $3.99 right now. We can go later. And I'm still not going to editorialize. I'm just going to jump straight into the comments. Jen says, best to just let that one go. He needs therapy and for a good reason. And then she said, yeah, he's been gone. Adriana says, bless, but here's hoping he reimbursed you for the tea, although most of us know he probably didn't. And she says, surprisingly, he actually went out and brought me 2 new gallons that night. And she says, good on him. Shar Star Carr says he's not ready to date. He needs to deal with his trauma via therapy instead of projecting this onto you and possibly others. And then, okay, so now we got Plastic Angel saying, wow, so he told you that he's a victim of abuse and that was your reaction. Come on now. First reaction should have been, oh my God, that's horrific. I can understand why you'd be afraid. If it made you more comfortable, you can watch me pour or pour drinks yourself. All victims of DV deserve compassion and patience, even men. When someone is vulnerable with you enough to tell their trauma, don't make light of it. I am still not editorializing or giving my opinion yet. I'm just reading through what some of these people are saying. I'm coming back to this one though. Pumpkin says women in male fields. Social Entrepreneur says you were insensitive, period. Where do you stand? Do you think that this is basically what dudes say and do? Or do you think that like Social Entrepreneur? Let me know. So C-Bell Coaches says, wait, so that information didn't cause you to pause just a little bit? And then she throws up a red flag. And Krista says, we stopped dating that night. Harlem Indigo says, this is the only response I was looking for. So remember, Plastic Angel says, wait, so he told you he's a victim of abuse and that's your reaction. And then K-Doll is anxious says, she is not his mama. And then this dude says, misandrous. A. Nicole Daly says, he told you his wife tried to take him out and you responded that he owes you $3.99. I hope he put $5 on your counter, walked out, and blocked you. It is Verena says, I don't mean to be that person, but like actually, If the genders were reversed on this story, the reacts would be very different. And I do want to pause there, because what do you think would have happened if, I'm talking to you, my audience, because I don't really know which person she's addressing right here. But if a woman tells a man that she has been the victim of DV or poisoning or some kind of trauma, and she told this to a man, how do you think that he would have responded? Please let me know in the comments. A. Nicole Daly says, very. We would be telling her to seek therapy and find a man with a high enough EQ to show compassion with when she shares a traumatic experience. And so that becomes the difference between our networks, because I do believe that we would say something like seek therapy, but I don't think that we are telling women to share trauma. I think our community specifically is saying, do not share your trauma with a man, because we know what men do when they know that a woman has been traumatized. They use that trauma, they use those experiences against women. So that's the reason why my response and my opinion on this was like bordering on, yeah, it's just women in male dominated fields. That was where I landed. Y'all probably already knew that. And it is really sad that I have gotten to that point of apathy. I have very little sympathy, empathy for dudes, because I have seen over the years. I'm 44 years old. I'll be 45 next year. I have seen over the years where women get absolutely no sympathy, no empathy, no grace for anything. It always comes back to, what did she do to deserve that type of treatment? So my gut reaction is to mirror that energy, even if that particular man didn't do anything. As a collective, there's been no empathy, sympathy, or grace for women that have been victims of any kind of thing. So I keep my empathy and sympathy for women. Katie says, what the? If you told a man you've been traumatized in a previous relationship by a convicted criminal, and his response was to tell you that's ridiculous because you have nothing he think was worth killing you over, and you better not waste any more of this sweet tea, how would you take it? And so the reason why I have an issue with these women trying to flip genders and everything. I have an issue with this because men take trauma and they use it against women in like malicious ways. So they don't tend to have a lot of compassion, but women are sitting up here trying to put the dudes in the place where they typically will have some compassion and not do this. She literally is just doing I don't know. Y'all can correct me. I am okay with being corrected. I know that I am probably not having the reaction that an empathetic, loving, supportive person is supposed to have. I admit that. I admit it. Come at me. I am not tripping on this, but I just don't think that you can flip the genders in this one. Atomic Cupcake at the bottom says, I definitely thought the same thing. I was like, dang, that's a bit sociopathic of a response. So they're calling her a sociopath. So do you think that she is a sociopath? All right, so drop it in the comments. Are you saying women in male fields? Or are you saying you were insensitive, period? Go ahead and let me know what you think about this particular one. At this juncture, y'all should know how I stand. I don't really do benefits of the doubts. I doubt their benefits, but also, is it not his responsibility to tell her some of this versus just like pouring stuff out? um like he dropped the information in there, like he was just saying, I prefer cheddar cheese over Kobe Jack. He just kind of dropped it in there. So I don't think that he didn't really come across as somebody that was traumatized. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not saying this right. Maybe I am not reading this right. I am not a therapist. Men are not my topic of discussion all the time. So y'all go ahead and weigh in. correct me. I am not being snarky. I am saying correct me, and I'm okay with it. Join the conversation, though. I thought this one was interesting and a slight twist. We haven't talked about this. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.